All right, Precalc, moving on to some trig identities. Our essential question is, can you verify trig identities? And to verify, you do have to show all your work, so get used to that. If you would like to read the blue box on page 360, they give you a couple hints how to do this. If not, we're digging in. They're telling us on number 1 to verify this identity. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta all over cosecant squared theta times secant squared theta is equal to 1. So the first thing I tell my students to do is to recognize, number 1, recognize all Pythagorean identities. So immediately you should say, hey, I know that this top right here is equal to 1. And then I also tell my students, we'll kill two birds with one stone here, is that anytime you have a secant or a cosecant, sometimes even a tan or a cotan, we're going to put them in terms of sine and cosine. Because if we put them in terms of sine and cosine, we'll see that we have 1 over the cosine squared of theta. And remember, we want all of this to equal 1. Well, you guys can obviously see it does. The cosine squared thetas cancel out, and 1 is equal to 1. So by showing all my work here, you don't have to write that this was a Pythagorean identity and this is a reciprocal identity. I know that. I just need to see your work from sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta to 1. So don't worry about like writing y. Just go ahead and show me your steps. All right, this one's a whole new ball game. And we worked on these a little bit already. We have to find a common denominator between 1 plus cosine of beta and 1 minus cosine of beta. So I know that my common denominator would be both of these put together, 1 plus cosine of beta times 1 minus the cosine of beta. And if you want to plug in an x, please do. A lot of you guys don't like that. So on the left side, I have to multiply by 1 plus cosine of beta over 1 plus cosine of beta. So remember, I can multiply anything through by 1, and I will not change the value. On the right side, I need to multiply by 1 minus cosine of beta over 1 minus the cosine of beta. So on the top, what I end up having is 1 plus cosine of beta plus 1 minus the cosine of beta. And on the bottom, notice I showed my common denominator. Well, on the top, you could probably recognize that a cosine of beta and a negative cosine of beta could cancel out. And that will give us, I'm trying to make this equal, I should probably rewrite this. I'm trying to make this equal to 2 cosecant squared of beta. Well, this is where I get that 2. 1 plus 1 we do know is 2. And I know 1 minus the cosine squared beta has got to equal something. That was equal to the sine squared of beta. So right here I have 2 over the sine squared of beta. And again, we're trying to make it all equal to this. Well, the reciprocal identity tells me that this is going to be 2 over, well, sine squared beta is 1 over the cosecant squared beta. And I know when I multiply by the reciprocal, that these would cancel out, and this is where I get my proof. 2 times the cosecant squared of beta is equal to 2 times the cosecant squared of beta. So notice we just go through all of our steps. There's a few more we're going to do on video. We're going to do a ton of these in class.